Hey, how are you guys doing? Thanks for coming back to the Clay Allen Review. Today I'm going to be taking a look at something that I've never done before, which seems to be kind of the trend right now with me, is doing things I haven't normally done, stepping outside my box, my little safety zone. Today I'm going to be taking a look at the Melonare. I got to look down at it and read it. The Melonare MWU-20. This is a wireless microphone set for doing things like DJ gigs, weddings, big events, things like that. It is a huge box. I'll go ahead and stick this so you can see it. And this is what we're going to be checking out today. So if that's something you're interested in, stick around. Okay, so no dual camera view today because this box is so humongous. It's going to take up the whole screen. And if I put my view in there, my pretty mug, you won't see much of the unboxing. So we're just going to leave me out of the picture. Let me get this thing open and we'll tear into it. Rah! Rah! Yeah, let's do that. Tear into it. It's huge. I know I'm gonna bump into something. Something is gonna get knocked into. But let's see. Where's the? Ugh. Good Lord. It's so big. That's what she said. All right, let's go. Okay. So it's gonna. I have to keep moving it around just to be able to swing the box around. Okay. There we go. We have a big piece of foam, and I'm going to keep this around because this will come in handy someday. It's like two different stages of foam. I'm sure I will find something to do with that. So we have a user manual. A user manual right there. Okay, you got stuff going on in there. All of this I am probably going to reference at some point because I've never messed with one of these before. So there's that. All right, and then we have a bunch of we'll make everybody wait. So these are mic stands. These are like little pedestal things, little feet that you can put on the bottom of the mics. You just place the mic right in there, and it will stand up. And then they usually come with some like rubber, squishy pads to put on each one of these corners here. So we'll keep an eye out for those. There is some batteries. It included some batteries for the microphones because they do take batteries. Let's go like this. We have cables. So we've got a 3.5 millimeter to 1/4 inch or 6.35, whatever it is, right there. So that's going to go from your, I would assume, your mic to your. Oh, look at that. Okay, so it's just an adapter. This is gonna what you're going to use to plug it into your PA speaker, or I'm going to even try hooking it up to my audio interface. So, haha, you're not holding me back. Here is a power adapter to get power to this unit. There's that. And we have our antennae right there. Kind of like little chopsticks. I was never really good at doing chopsticks. Nope. You can tell that I chose to go with something else because I'm a heavy guy. And if I would have just stuck with my chopstick skills, I probably would have ate a lot less. All right, there's the antennas. Microphones. They are big, hefty boys. Big old honking, chunky things. All right, and then we've got a power button on the front, and it does have a little LCD or like whatever display right here. So probably going to be so that you can show your frequency that you're on. And that's about it. They are completely wireless. There's no option to turn these into XLRs. They're just They're just built this way, unless that comes apart or something that I don't know about. But this does come apart so that you can take and put your batteries in there. Okay. So let's go ahead and move along. We'll put that right back there. The other microphone is right here. Same dealio. All right. Don't need to go over all the same stuffs. And then we have the receiver, which is pretty snug. And there's the receiver. So, sorry, this is the front. This is the front, and it says Melonare right there, MWU-20. You've got your volumes for your microphones, and then you have some buttons to do your adjustments. You have up and down and set. So that's going to be probably to tune it into the right frequency. These are UHF wireless microphones. Keep that in mind. Okay. That means that they will probably do a lot better with interference. Go through walls if you needed to. Probably not a good suggestion, but just knowing that means that if you're in a crowded room, it's going to get a little bit better signal. All right. It's got a power button right there. And then on the back, you have the two spots to mount the antennas. You have your power in, you have a mix out, and then you have your two balanced XLRs. This is going to be something that I will try and run this into my audio interface and use these through my Rodecaster just for fun. All right. So there we go. That's all of it. So let's go ahead and hook them up and see how they sound. Maybe we'll try to get some outdoor tests or go find another big room somewhere. We'll do something like that. So let's do that. All right. So real quick, I'm going to run a test. I have this hooked up through my Rodecaster Duo. So you've got two XLR outs on the back, and I just ran an XLR cable from the first channel into the back of the Rodecaster. I've got it plugged into the mic number 2 on the Rodecaster. And we're going to do a little distance test. All right. We're going to take this outside of the room and leave the receiver obviously in here because it needs to be plugged into power. We're going to leave it in here and see how this does through walls. And then I'm going to go outside and see if you're still able to hear it out there. So what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to stop and I'm going to set up a camera so that you can see the screen on the front of this receiver. That way you can see when I'm speaking, it's actually moving the meter on this thing. So, and then I'll set up and do a dual screen so you can see me going for a walk and you can see this thing. So I'll be right back. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and go for a walk outside of the studio and see how this does. All right, I got two things in my hands. This is going to be a little bit tough. Okay. You look, yeah, it's trying to make sure this thing sees me. Oops, trying to make sure this thing sees me the whole time. Yes, it does. Okay. All right, we're going to head downstairs. And so now we are downstairs from the studio. Why is it not following me? Oh, it is. All right, so we're going into, this is the living room, and then we're going to go to the kitchen, which is the room directly below my studio. Okay, so now we're down here. All right, now we're going to go ahead and go outside, but I'm going to need to take a second and put on a hoodie because it is cold outside. So give me just a minute. Okay, got the hoodie on. Now I'm going to head outside. It is bright and cold and slippery. There's people and stuff, and I'm like embarrassed. So I'm going to give it a test. Receivers in the bedroom. I'm outside, downstairs. And we are probably, I don't know, roughly 40 feet away from the receiver. So now we'll come down the street a little bit and see how it's up. We are probably about 70 feet from the receiver and down the street here. I'm going to the house next door because I am probably at about 100, close to 100 feet right now. And here comes more people. Of course, they're gonna come now while I'm doing this. Not any sooner or later. So there's about 100 feet away outside. If this is still picking up, nobody in their right mind is gonna be using these in this fashion. This just kind of shows you that you can trust the connection, the transmission, in a packed room, in a banquet hall or wedding venue with lots of people moving around, things blocking the transmission. You're still going to get good signal, and you're not going to cut out. So that's what we're going to be listening for when we go back upstairs, is any cutouts that may have happened just now. So let me pay attention to the stick. Everything's icy. Even though I salted, it's still icy. So, all right, heading back in. Okie doke. Back in the studio. And I will go ahead and check all this out. All right, so I listened to all of that, and I think it did pretty good. Normally, you're going to be using this in one big room. You're going to be an open line of communication between the transmitter and the receiver in a big room, in a banquet hall, something like that. Nobody's using these in the way I just showed you. That's just the only way I could example how the transmission held up, okay? I think, considering everything, that it was inside of a room, inside of my house. You could hear me very loud and clear when I was downstairs. That's amazing right there. And then you could hear me pretty decent outside until I started turning my back to the house, which is where the receiver was. Then it started to cut out. So I had to, I put in my phone audio. But again, anybody that is buying these is going to be like a DJ that's somebody that does weddings all the time, and they're looking for a mic system for people when they're going to do a speech. Or if you're, a lecturer, teacher, at a college or at a school, and you need something to, transmit from a microphone to a a PA system. I think this is a great deal for the money. This is more, on the budget end of wireless systems like this. This is UHF. Systems like this can usually get really expensive. This one is not that expensive. I'll look up and see what the transmission ratings are for this one, and then we'll go from there. And that's going to pretty much wrap it up. So let me just take a look at that real quick, and I'll be right back. All right. So under normal circumstances, open air, one room, you're kind of staying relatively close to the receiver. Melonare has this thing rated at a range of about 260 feet. So I'm going to say it probably does that, maybe even a little bit more in that environment. The situation that I put it through, completely different scenario. There is walls involved. There is distance, going through. The fact that you could hear me at all, and if you hear that noise, that's because I'm very close to the receiver. That's not something that you're hearing all the time. It's just because I'm getting too close now and then, and it's some feedback. But, yeah, normal environment. The fact that you could hear me at all while I was outside or downstairs, that's going through the second floor, through the walls of the house. That's really good. To me, that sounds pretty damn good. So there you have it. 260-foot range, on a decent budget. Let me check real quick and see what these are costing you currently. All right, so as you can see right now on Amazon, you can get this setup for $89. It looks like it was originally $129.99. It is currently 31% off. So for the price of, if this is something that you need, if you're a DJ or if you're an event planner, I'm getting that feedback again. If you are into that, for the price of a budget broadcast microphone, you get two microphones and the receiver, obviously, and you can get yourself set up to do events and host things of that nature. $89. I don't think it's horrible. I think it's pretty decent for what you're getting. 260-foot range. it's doing very well with lots of obstacles and lots of obstructions in the transmission. So there you go. There you have it, right there on the screen. $89. Okay, so with all that being said, that's all I have for the Melonare MWU-20. This is a UHF wireless microphone set for doing events and stuff, and that's great. I think it's pretty cool. These can get really expensive, and if you need something like this and you don't want to spend too much money, there's options like this available at your fingertips. So if you got anything positive out of this, I'd appreciate a thumbs up. If you want to do that, you can. If you haven't subscribed already, you could do that. And when you do, click the bell so you get reminded every time I put up a new review, a new video. I do stuff just like this. I do product reviews and kind of sometimes, like now, stepping out of my box, doing things that I don't normally do. So for those of you who are new, that's what happens here on the Clay Allen Review. I'm Clay Allen, and that's all I got. I will see you in the next video. I'm out.